What's up YouTube, this is Lee here, and today I'm going to let you know my thoughts on the IconX and all its problems. This is mainly the problems video, and I've gone through two of these now and I see that both of them have issues. I'm going to start off with my first biggest problem was the balancing issue. Sometimes before I updated the firmware, which is very hard to get the firmware by the way at this time, I would put them in and I would hear all the vocals on the right side, and it would be very rare that I would hear both of them equal in the center of my head, and it felt like I was going deaf in my left ear. So and I'm not the only one that experienced this. I've seen other comments that say similar things, but it was unnerving, gave me anxiety. I thought I did have a cold, so I'd be blowing my nose, like trying to pop my ears or something, but it wasn't me. So once I did update the firmware, and that firmware isn't on the internet, I had to go to Samsung chat just to get it. It got better, but now it actually does still shift, but I'm able to recenter it by pausing it, either taking them out of my ear, repausing it from playing it again from the earbud, and it kind of resolves itself, but it always tends to shift back to the right. It's very unnerving. Another problem is with this charge cradle. This thing is not that great. It is, sometimes I'll put the earbuds in and one LED, these should be both solid red, one will just be blinking. And by the time that this one turns green, this one will still be blinking. I've never seen a blinking red light turn green. So I don't think it's charging, but it's a very easy fix. I just open the canister up and then close it back down, and usually the red light stops blinking and it finishes charging. But this happens probably once a day, twice a day, maybe more. I just have to open it up, close it again. It'll happen in the middle of the charge, and I'll do it. I catch it. But today, both LEDs were blinking simultaneously in unison, and there was no way for me to stop it. So this was fully charged because I've been charging it all yesterday. And I opened and closed it, and they still were blinking. So I actually called Samsung. They didn't know anything about it. So I got it to stop by flip-flopping these around and putting them in my ear, letting them drain a little bit, putting them back in. They stopped blinking. So it took a while. It wasn't easy. Another reason why I got the second one, the replacement, is because one battery was draining, the right side was draining about an hour and 10 minutes, and that was with using the left bud as the main ear, but it was just draining really fast. It would and the left one, I would never see it drain all the way, because if you do use both of them, you don't see it just would be half green and the other one would be red, and it continues to this day, and there's nothing I could do about it, except I got the new ones and they drain pretty much simultaneously, except the one that's the main bud that you make connect to the phone drains faster, and that does drain in an hour and a half. So right now it's doing all right, but still there's plenty of battery issues that people complain about on Amazon's comments and on the internet. Some last 30 minutes. It's a first generation product, I get it, but to have these issues so prevalent is obviously it wasn't ready. I think they're trying to beat Apple on this one, but maybe they should have waited just a little longer. Now some random things. The ambient setting, to hear the people outside, it's completely useless. As Flossie Carter noted, you can't really hear the other person if you turn off the sound, you turn off the music, you turn on the ambient sound, you can't really hear them. You hear yourself a lot, but not it's very difficult, so I end up taking them both out anyways. You sound like a robot, and that's about it. The touch controls are very sensitive, and you can be voluming up, and then out of nowhere you'll pause it very easily. So that's kind of a pain. Not that big of a deal because you can get used to it. But when you're talking on the phone, the problem is you can't turn the volume up. You don't hear any volume change when you move up and down, and that kind of sucks because you just can't. And why on earth would you be able to only hear the person you're talking to on one earbud? Like, it should be both earbuds that you listen to the person on. And that is, it makes you feel like you're covering one ear with your finger and you're listening to the other person on the other end. You hear your jaw, you want it to be open. So if you're gonna put one earbud and only use one, you need to take out the other one if you want to sound sane. So why not just listen through them in both ears? It sounds a lot better. That's a problem. And lastly, it's the software update. You can, once you plug these in and get them into your phone, it should tell you that your firmware is not current. And so I had to call Samsung and get that together, and they sent me a link, and it took a while, and they didn't know what was going on. But I got the latest firmware, and it's all right. I mean, I think it fixed that bouncing issue from being permanent to being like intermediate. So now I just have to pause and play them. So am I going to return these? Not right now. I am going to return the ones that were messed up about the battery. The battery thing was messed up. So I'm keeping the second pair for now, and I'll have a couple of weeks to decide if I really want to keep them or not. So that's about it. These are the problems with the IconX. If you like this video, please subscribe. I'm trying to collect subscribers, see what happens here, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.